What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fast Break with Tundra Baller. I'm excited. We are here for episode 10. Let's get things started. It is another Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., so you know what that means. We are back at it with Fast Break with Tundra Baller. I am your host, Mario Duenas, aka Tundra Baller. You know me. I am the biggest Clipper fan that you guys know. I am the largest Clipper fan there is. And we are here. Episode 10 already. It just felt like September when we started programming here on Titan Radio. And now we're here, episode 10. This is our last regular week of programming, and then it's finals week next week here at Cal State Fullerton. And I will be here next week still for the last episode of the semester, and I hope that I could be back next semester. But anyways, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So last Wednesday, I woke up to some horrible news. So, we're going to start with this. You guys probably already heard about the news. It's been about a week now, but I just need to talk about my side of the story here. So, it was last Wednesday. I woke up randomly in the middle of the night. I checked my phone to see what time it was, and it was 3 in the morning. While I was doing that, somebody tagged me on an Instagram story on one of my accounts. So I was like, oh my god. It was one of the guys that be talking about my Clippers. It's all fun and games and stuff. Like nothing personal. But, every time the Clippers, they do something bad, they're always talking. But I checked to see what it was. And it was a report of Chris Paul and the Clippers parting ways. And I was like, oh my god, is this true? So I checked to see if it was true. I did not get sentoed. It was legit. Shams Charania said it. Everybody said it. All of the Clipper reporters that I follow, they all said it. All of those credible sources, they said it. So it's like 2016 or 2017, those stuff. Don't do these things at 3 a.m. Well, I woke up at 3 a.m. and that happened, right? So, terrible things allegedly happen at 3 a.m. So that happened. So, I was very shocked to see that happened. I just left that guy on red because I was too shocked to reply to him. And I didn't feel like replying at 3 in the morning. But I went to the bathroom and went back to bed. But it felt like forever for me to fall back asleep because I couldn't believe that it happened, bro. Because he was part of my childhood, guys. I am 19 years old right now. I'm going to be 20 years old next month. Or next year. Right now, the Clippers, they're 5-18. Well, during that time, they're 6-18 right now. But during that time, the Clippers are 5-16 after their first 21 games. And the Clippers, they decided to send the Chris Paul home because look, it's his last year in the league. He's 40 years old right now. Part of the unction of what all the haters say. The unction, because the team, they're pretty old. They have Harden, Kawhi, Brook Lopez, Bradley Beal. Well, he's younger than Norman Powell, but a lot of the guys are older, and there's only a few young guys on the team. I compare OKC and a lot of other teams. A lot of the other teams are pretty young. You're talking about the Hornets, especially OKC, which is crazy. But going back to the Clippers, I've been a Clipper fan for about 15, 14 years now, pretty much my entire life. It is crazy to think about that he was one of the first people that I ever watched as a basketball fan. Like, my earliest memories was Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Lob City. When my dad, he's been a Clipper fan pretty much my whole entire life, and I was just like, wow, I love these guys. And my mom's a Laker fan, and I was like, yeah, these Lakers suck. And, the Clippers, they were doing good, way better than the Lakers. But, this is just really disappointing, guys. But here is some of the things that allegedly happened. So, now that it was actually morning, when I woke up that Wednesday morning, there were reports that Chris Paul and the Clippers head coach Ty Lue weren't on speaking terms for weeks before this happened. Chris Paul wanted to meet with Ty Lue, but apparently he refused to have that meeting. I don't know why. The Clippers have been struggling. That morning, Lawrence Frank, the Clippers president of basketball operations, had a press conference about releasing Chris Paul. He said that this decision wasn't because of how the team was performing, but it was the right decision to make for the team. He is very confident that the Clippers will make will be a destination franchise as long as Steve Ballmer is the owner of the team. Frank will keep exploring options to make the team better. He was also defending Ty Lue, saying that he will still be the head coach here for a very long time. So, the Clippers, they lost to Miami. They got blown out that Monday. And they were going on a flight to Atlanta. They were apparently stuck at the Miami airport for 6 hours due to mechanical issues. So that was something crazy, but that Tuesday night going to Wednesday night, Frank had a 3-hour meeting with Chris Paul about parting ways. It went from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Time. And Chris Paul posted on his Instagram story at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, or midnight in Pacific Time, that he just found out that he got sent home. I pretty much follow all of the Clippers players, so I checked that Instagram story, and it was real. Pretty much just a black screen in the background, and just him saying, just found out I parted ways, and then the 2 fingers up emoji. That was pretty much all he said. So he posted that, and this is what Lawrence Frank said as part of a press conference. Chris has a very good leadership style. He's led a lot of teams. Some moves you make, roster moves you make, you have great intentions. Some work and some don't. I own that. This one just didn't work at this time. So, I didn't think that... Of course, I love Chris Paul, man. I love Chris Paul. He was one of the first players that I grew up watching. And he was pretty much one of my idols when I started watching basketball. But I was really sad that when he got traded to the Rockets, but good things happened when they traded him to the Rockets. They got Lou Williams. You got Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell. And if you know ball, those guys have been Clipper legends. Especially Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell. They won 6th Man of the Year awards, both of them, while they were on the Clippers. Pretty much one of the best bench duos in NBA history, in my opinion. And, and during the summer, when Chris Paul came back in July, there was a pretty much a homecoming event at Intuit Dome for season ticket members. And if you guys have been following or been watching and have been tuning in to Fast Break with Tundra Baller with me for the past few weeks, at least, you guys know that I'm a season ticket holder for the Clippers. And I went to this event in the summer, and it was just pretty much like a lot of nostalgia that he is back. Like it wouldn't be how it was, when he was averaging like 20 points a game or 18, 17 points a game, 15, something like that. But just him being there, it's just like like where the 5-year-old me was was back for a little bit. That like it reminded me of a 5-year-old me watching the Clippers. Just a lot of memories, but some people, no matter what, I'm still gonna be a Clipper fan. But this fan right here, he's been a fan of 19 years, and pretty much me. I'm 19 years old, and he pretty much he's just done with the Clippers now. And now he's gonna be a fan of the Lakers. So this guy on Instagram named Jimbo Drips posted on Instagram. He posted this: "Dear basketball, after 19 years, I officially renounced my fandom of the LA Clippers. I wish it didn't have to come to this, but after the way the franchise has treated its two most important players, trading Blake after saying he retired a Clipper, and what they did to CP3 last night. To Blake, CP, and Jamal, I love you guys. However, Kawhi, Steve, not you, Harden, you guys are the reason for the downfall of this franchise that Lob City built. Lob City meant everything to me, but I guess it meant nothing to the richest owner in sports. I'm excited for my next chapter. Go Lakers." That's what he said. And then he pretty much posted pictures of him, of Clippers, and the jerseys that he has, and he had a Blake Griffin jersey signed, and Blake Griffin commented on that post. Blake Griffin himself. He said this: "Go find your peace, King." And then Jimbo Drips replied back to him saying, "My GOAT." It was, I follow other Clipper fans too, and I was just as mad as them, but I would never leave my Clippers. Whether they're 82-0, they're 6-18 right now, or if they go 0-82, or if they're the worst team in the league, I would never leave my Clippers. I even have the Clippers logo tatted on me, so there's pretty much no turning back now, right? So yeah, it was just really, really sad for this to happen. And Blake Griffin, so you guys may be wondering, what is Blake Griffin doing now? But Blake Griffin, he is now pretty much with Amazon Prime, talking about basketball, pretty much just in basketball broadcasting for the NBA. So Blake pretty much said this. This is his words: "I'm just disappointed. To be honest, I can't think of really another word. Obviously shocked at first, but disappointed. I'm disappointed for Chris Paul, but I'm disappointed in the Clippers organization. I mean, Chris Paul is a guy who came to the Clippers when DeAndre and I were first and second year guys. He brought a winning culture. He taught us how to operate in the NBA and how to take every game seriously, how to take care of your body seriously. That there was no detail that was too small. And we weren't perfect, right? Like, we created, ultimately, win a championship. I know that. I'm reminded of it every day. And CP and I didn't always see eye to eye. But I'm disappointed because we got a franchise that is synonymous with jokes, right? You heard of the Clippers and you heard of the curse. And again, we didn't win a championship. But we did create a culture and an environment that people respected. Every year, you knew the Clippers were going to be competitive. And Chris Paul, for 20 years, has been the same player. He's been about winning. And, he re-signed the Clippers. This was supposed to be his moment. You coming back to LA. I'm giving it one last go. And for him to not get that walk on his own terms from that franchise that he chose to go to end his career is extremely disappointing. But I think the biggest reason I'm disappointed is what Chris said. No communication in Ty Lue. And even more than that, no communication. I talked to CP Wednesday. I talked to him yesterday. I talked to him today. No communication with Steve Ballmer. And that's like the disappointing thing for me. So, Steve Ballmer, guys, he became the owner after Donald Sterling was being racist and all that stuff. And then he pretty much, his energy. If you guys seen him at Clipper games, what's like Derrick Jones Jr. dunks on somebody. He is flying from his seat and punching the air, kicking the air from his seat. That's just how he is. He's always excited all the time. But my perspective on this is that, yeah, he wasn't a good fit to the team. But I think that, we need to move on from this. But it's just really disrespectful of how things went. But Kawhi, we need to step up. Kawhi, James Harden, we need to step up. First halves hasn't been terrible. So we really need to step it up. So anyways, enough about Chris Paul. Let's talk about the Clipper games. We have 3 Clipper games to talk about today. So the first one is last Wednesday's game, Clippers against the Hawks. So, Wednesday morning, that thing happened with Chris Paul, and then they had a game that night. So let's talk about what happened. So the Clippers, they had a huge advantage over the Hawks because they had a lot of injuries. The Hawks were playing without Trae Young, Kristaps Porzingis with an illness, Trae Young with his knee, and Jalen Johnson. He was a late scratch with a calf strain or a calf tightness. The Clippers, they had an explosive start in the first 2.5 minutes. They were up 9-2 to start off the game. James Harden had a 3 and a layup. Ivica Zubac had a dunk, and Kawhi made a midi. They were up as much as 8 points in the quarter. The Clippers, they were up in front by 6, 27-21. Harden almost scored half of the Clippers' points with 13. The Hawks started to build some momentum in the second quarter. They took the lead with 7 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first quarter after Dyson Daniels got an and one. The Clippers, it feels like every game that they're always cold at some point. So this was their time, I guess. Their daily cold streak. The score went from the Clippers being down 33-32, being down 1, to being up 7, 40-33 in under 3 minutes. Cam Christie, John Collins, and Ivica Zubac had a 2 of their own, and Kawhi Leonard made 2 free throws in that sequence. Then the Clippers ended the half by going on a 15-3 scoring run in the last 4 minutes to go up 14, 55-41 at halftime. Vit Krejci. Remember when I talked about him last episode? He was the Hawks player who's had a career high 8 threes in the matchup against the Clippers a few weeks ago. But in the first half, he did not go off. He went 1 for 5 from 3 in the half, only making his first shot. So he made the first one, and then he missed 4 in a row. So going to this game, I was like, okay, since Porzingis isn't playing, Jalen Johnson isn't playing, and Porzingis, we have to stop Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Vit Krejci. Just don't let him make his shots. Just don't let him go off, Vit Krejci. And he didn't go off. So the Clippers, they shot 50%, 11 for 22 from the field in that quarter. And the Hawks, they shot 31%, 7 for 22. So in the third quarter, the Clippers exploded for 39 points in the quarter. This was one of their best second half quarters in a while. Harden scored 10 points in the quarter, and Kawhi scored 9, so they combined for 19 points in the quarter. The Hawks, they scored 32 points. Still, the Clippers outscored them by 7. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the cousin of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Oklahoma City Thunder, scored 10 of those points. The Clippers were up 21 after 3 quarters, 94-73. In the fourth quarter, the Clippers were up as much as 25 points. Both teams were still playing their starters and rotation players off the bench until the last 2 minutes. Literally, when I was looking at this game, I wasn't home at the time, but I was checking the score. But I was like, why is Kawhi and James playing right now? Like, we need to rest them. But, just to give Kawhi momentum. He played 35 minutes in this game. So at the end of the game, the Clippers won by 23 points, 115-92, giving them their 6th win and ending their 5-game losing streak. So James Harden, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. Kawhi Leonard, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Kobe Sanders, the rookie from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in Utah, the guy I talked about a few weeks ago on the NBA Player Spotlight number 2, the rookie, 17 points, 5 for 6 shooting, 2 for 2 from 3, and 5 for 5 from the free throw line. So for the Hawks, they were led by Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and Dyson Daniels, 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. And V. Krejci, he finished the game 1 for 6 from 3. So he did not go off in this game. If he did go off, it would have been way different because we should have won that other game, the other matchup. But it was because of V. Krejci that they won. He pretty much single-handedly brought him back in the game because the Clippers, they had a decent lead, about like 18 in the first half, something like that. So good thing the Clippers, they kept that momentum in the second half because they would blow their first half momentum in the second half. It would just not translate in the second half. So let's go on to game number 2. Clippers versus Grizzlies. So they were also out with a lot of guys. They were without Scottie Pippen Jr., John Morant, Brandon Clark, not Desmond Bane, but they had a lot of guys out. A ton of guys. They had 5 guys out. So from the start, the Clippers were on a roll from 3. It all started off when John Collins hit a 3-pointer from the corner after being down 5-0. Then James Harden hit a 3 and the foul. After 7 minutes, Harden already hit 3 threes with 11 points. Kobe Brown also drove to the basket and dunked on the defender. Poster. 2 weeks ago, Zach Edey had 19 rebounds against the Clippers, but after the first quarter, he didn't get any rebounds. It was a close quarter, and it ended with the Clippers on top by 3, 33-30. 29 of those points were from James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and John Collins. Harden had 13, Collins with 9, and Kawhi with 7. The Grizzlies' scoring was scattered throughout many of their players, but Jalen Wells led the team in scoring in the first quarter with 7 points. After the Grizzlies took the lead after the first 2 minutes, the Clippers scored 7 points in 31 seconds. Kawhi drove to the basket and hit a layup over 4 guys. Then Kawhi intercepts Vince Williams Jr.'s pass and dunks it. Then Kobe Sanders got the steal off Vince Williams Jr.'s pass again from the inbound after Kawhi got that dunk and passes it around, and Cam Christie hits a 3 to bring the Clippers up 6. So this brought him up by 6, and then after 6 minutes, Kawhi already had 9 points in the second quarter. However, the threes were just falling for the Grizzlies. In over a minute, they tied the game at 52 with 2 minutes 46 seconds left after going on an 8-2 scoring run with a basket from Santi Aldama and 2 threes from Cam Spencer and Jock Landale. After that, James Harden got in mid-range. Then Collins hit a 3 to bring the Clippers up 5. After the three, Grizzlies head coach Tomas Lisalo got a technical foul because he was arguing over a no call. Jalen Wells got screened hard from Ivica Zubac. He pretty much got laid out, got trucked. Just think of it like Ashton Genty from the Raiders, just running into guys. That's pretty much what Ivica Zubac did to Jalen Wells. But I didn't see any illegal screen. I'm a ref myself, and I didn't see anything illegal on Zoo's screen. So this brought the lead to 6 after Harden hit the technical free throw. And at halftime, the Clippers were up by 4, 58-54. The Grizzlies had 7 turnovers in the second quarter. Harden and Kawhi both have 16 points, and Collins has 12. So far, the leading scorers for the Grizzlies at halftime, they both have 10, Zach Edey and Cam Spencer. So, to the third quarter, the second half, after 3.5 minutes, the Clippers were ice cold, making one of their first 5 shots, while the Grizzlies hit 3 of their first 5. They also took the lead for the first time since the first quarter, the Grizzlies. After that, Jalen Wells got back-to-back buckets with a layup. Then he drew an offensive foul from Harden on an inbound during the inbound pass. And then he hit a 3 right after to bring the lead to 5. The Grizzlies, they were up as much as 8, but the Clippers went on a 10-1 run to give the lead back. After that, the Clippers gave up the lead once again after turning over a ball 3 times in a row. They were now down 5. Kobe Sanders, however, he kept producing and got a dunk with a foul and won. After 3 quarters, the Grizzlies were up 3, 84-81. So they're down 4 at halftime, and now they're up 3 after 3 quarters. The Clippers had 7 turnovers, just like how the Grizzlies did in the second quarter with 7 turnovers. The Grizzlies shot 57% from the field, and the Clippers shot 42% from the field. Sorry. So now to the fourth quarter. There were a lot of trading baskets in the first 4 minutes. Cedric Coward scored the first 7 points for the Grizzlies. Then the Clippers took the lead after the first 5 minutes with a Kobe Brown 3. Although Kawhi only had 4 points in the stretch, he was really turning on the Jets. He was dribbling as fast as those street ball players you see at Venice Beach, like the Professor, Bone Collector, I don't know, you name it. Tristan Jass, you name it. Julian Newman, but he's actually, making dribble moves instead of just Julian Newman dribbling at one spot. But yeah, turning on the Jets, going fast, and he almost had a poster on Zach Edey, but it got blocked, unfortunately. That if he threw that down, that might have been the play of the year. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But anyways, the game was tied with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left when Harden tied the game at 84 with 2 free throws. Then a minute later, went downhill. The Grizzlies, they went on a 7-0 run. After that, Kawhi and James, they both lost the ball in the same possession. They were getting clamped. They turned over a ball. This led to Cedric Coward getting fouled. And the Clippers lost 107-98. Cedric Coward scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. And it just ended in a disaster. The Clippers, they were on a roll for the most part in the first half, and then they lost that momentum in the second half. It's the same story. The same story. So, for the stats, let's start off with the Grizzlies. Cedric Coward, 23 points, 14 rebounds. Jalen Wells had 17. Cam Spencer also had 17 points, and he had 7 assists. Kawhi Leonard, 24 points, 8 rebounds. James Harden, 18 points, 7 assists. John Collins, 16 points. So we have one more Clipper game to talk about. So let's get into it. So the Timberwolves, they have been a decent team so far, but almost 500. But they're led by Anthony Edwards, who is probably one of the best young guys in the league right now, besides Shea and Jalen Brunson. So 5 minutes into the game, the Clippers, they were already up by 9. They were on a roll. See, first half, they're always good. They were up by 9, 18-9. They made 2 threes and forced 4 turnovers at that time. 10 of their 18 points were in the paint. By the first time out, Kawhi already had 7 points, so that was about 5 minutes into the game. The Clippers were playing great defense, especially when Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels, they made heavily contested shots at the rim, but, if you keep playing defense like that, they're not going to make it every time. They will only make it probably about 1 or 2 times out of 20 times at most. Just very tough shots. Most of the time 0, but 1 or 2 if they get lucky. The Clippers, they were up 13 points with 3 minutes left in the quarter. Brook Lopez, the Splash Mountain, he entered the game for the first time after sitting on the bench for 6 straight games. Bogdan Bogdanović also returned to the lineup since November 20th and missing 8 straight games with a left hip contusion. Julius Randle hit a mid-range pull-up jumper to beat the buzzer as the Clippers were up by 12, 34-22 after the first quarter. Harden was the leading scorer at the time with 9 points. Kawhi and Collins with 7 points. For the Timberwolves, they were led by Jaden McDaniels with 7. The Clippers, they were up by 14 points after the first 3 minutes into the second quarter. Kobe Sanders threw down a poster on Julius Randle. It may not have been a dunk, though, because he lost in midair when he tried to dunk, but it still went in. So, in my books, that's a dunk. After back-to-back threes from Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, the Clippers were up by 18, 48-30, with 4 minutes left in the first half. Remember, guys, they were up by 18, because this is going to be important later. After Harden got fouled on a 3 by Rudy Gobert, if your flight reacts, with 31 seconds left, it was upgraded to a flagrant 1 because it was a reckless closeout. Harden's left foot landed on Gobert's foot, and his right foot also landed on his foot, kind of. The defender needs to let the shooter have space to land because it could be dangerous because you could turn an ankle, and if you turn your ankle, that's going to be really, really bad. You could break your ankle, and you could be out for some time, so it is pretty dangerous. So at the buzzer, there was a clean look for Chris Dunn to have a layup to beat the buzzer, but he rushed it and missed it. The Clippers were up 56-42. James Harden and Julius Randle both scored 10 points that quarter. So we were up 14 at halftime. Remember that too. And so I was watching the game with my dad. When he missed that, my dad was saying, "Oh, that could hurt us later on in the game." So remember that too. We were up 14 at halftime. The missed layup, and we were up 18 in the second quarter. So remember those 3 things as we go to the second half of this game. So after the Clippers brought it up to 15 at one point, the Timberwolves went on a 9-0 run when Jaden McDaniels, all by himself, got a dunk, a midi, a fadeaway, and a 3. He scored 9 points in over a minute, all by himself, we always allow the whatever option to go off, not the best option. If you're the Timberwolves, the number one options, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards. So we were taking care of those guys. But we need to take care of the rest of the guys. So we let Jaden McDaniels go off. The Timberwolves, they brought the lead down to 4 at one point after they extended that run to 15-4 when Jaden McDaniels, all by himself, he was like Thanos, fine, I'll do it by myself. 9-0 run, all by himself, from 9-0 to 15-4. After Harden made 2 free throws, though, he made history. He passed Carmelo Anthony to be in the top 10 of the all-time scoring list with 28,290 points. So when he made those free throws to reach 28,290 points, he is 307 points away. He's closer now, but after those free throws, he is 307 points away from going to number 9 in the all-time scoring list, which is Shaquille O'Neal right now. Heat legend. Then a minute later, he got fouled on 3 again. So, this was the Clippers' 24th game. Guess how many times he got fouled while shooting a 3 this season? 27 times. If you said 27, you are correct. So, he has been averaging about a little over one foul on 3 this season. So, last year, he led the league last year by drawing 60 fouls while shooting a 3. And those 27 threes that he drew a foul on this year, it's also leading the league currently right now. So despite allowing many and ones and missing a good amount of shots in the third quarter, the Clippers held on to the lead to end the third quarter. So they were up by 14 at halftime, and they were only up 6 after the third quarter. 78-72. Jaden McDaniels scored 12 points and went 5 for 5 from the field. The Clippers shot 34% in the quarter and 14% from 3. After the first 3 minutes into the fourth quarter, the Clippers already lost their lead after the Timberwolves went on a 13-5 run. Kobe Sanders, after the first minute, he already fouled out of the game with his 6th foul. And the Clippers, they already fouled the Timberwolves 6 times after the first 4.5 minutes. They were hacks. Nothing but hacking. With 4 minutes left, they brought the lead to 9, the Timberwolves. After the Clippers brought it down to 7 with 3 minutes left, Chris Dunn stole a pass and dunked it to bring it down to 5. Then Rudy Gobert got a loose ball foul, and now he is fouled out of the game with his 6th foul, just like Kobe Sanders. Harden got fouled on a layup by Julius Randle. He made both free throws to bring the lead down to 3 with 2 minutes left. Then a minute later, Harden threw a dime to Ivica Zubac for a layup, and the foul, and one. And he made a free throw to tie the game with a minute 6 left. And that, with those baskets right there, the Chris Dunn layup, bringing the Chris Dunn layup, the bringing the lead down to 9, and then the and 1. This was a 9-0 run. After that, Mike Conley, he drove to the basket and got fouled by Bogdan Bogdanovic. The Timberwolves, they took back the lead with 53 seconds left. On the other end, though, Bogdanovic, he redeemed himself by making a fadeaway to tie the game with 30 seconds left. In the last 3 minutes, the Clippers, they went on a 11-2 run. The Timberwolves, they called a timeout. Jaden McDaniels, he missed a midi, and it was rebounded by Naz Reid. And then he hit a 3. It was a tie game. He hit a 3. We allowed an offensive rebound to the Clippers. And then, yeah, it was rebounded by Naz Reid. And then he hit a three with 13 seconds left. So, Clippers called timeout. Coming out of a timeout, Harden, he took a quick layup to bring the lead down to 1 with 7 seconds left. The Timberwolves, they called their last timeout of the game, and Jaden McDaniels, he got fouled. We intentionally fouled, and he made both free throws with 4 seconds left. Harden got a contested but a good look in the corner to tie the game, but it was no good. The Clippers lose 109-106 and fall 6-18. After 24 games, the Clippers only won a quarter of those games. Just very disappointing. The Clippers, they should be about 18-6 right now. Nobody thought that we would go down this bad. We are not 6-18 bad. Anyways, let's talk about the box score a little bit. James Harden, 34 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Kawhi, he had 20 points. Ivica Zubac had another double-double. 15 points, 13 rebounds. For the Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels, he was the leading scorer for the Timberwolves. We let him go off for 27 points. And he shot really good from the field, 10 for 13 from the field overall. Julius Randle, 24 points, and he shot 11 for 12 from the free throw line. Anthony Edwards, he had an off game. He had 15 points, 3 for 11 shooting, but he went 9 for 9 from the free throw line. And Naz Reid, he hit a lot of threes. He made 5 threes, 5 for 8 from 3. And he had 19 points and 9 rebounds, 1 shy of a double-double. So with the Clippers being 6-18 right now, they are 14th place in the Western Conference. They are in the bottom 5 of the league. As of Monday, going into Monday's games, so right above the Clippers are the Kings in the 13th spot, 6-17. The Clippers are 14th with 6-18. And then in last place of the Western Conference, the Pelicans, 3-21. And then for the last 3 spots in the Western Conference, we have number 13, the Brooklyn Nets, 6-17. The Indiana Pacers, 5-18. And the Washington Wizards at 3-19. So the Clippers only have more wins than 3 teams right now. The Pelicans, the Pacers, and the Wizards. And they have the same amount of wins as the Kings and the Nets. So right now the Hornets, 7-17. They have one more win than the Clippers. The Clippers beat the Suns once. So let's talk about the Clippers wins. They beat the Suns for their first win. They're currently 13-10. Their second win, they beat the Portland Trail Blazers. They're currently 9-15. The New Orleans Pelicans, they're the worst in the league right now. 3-21. They beat the Mavericks once in double overtime. They're 9-16. They beat the Hawks. They're currently 14-11. And that's pretty much all their wins. You know? The Clippers, after the first 5 games, they were 3-2. So after those games, the next 19 games, they went 3-15. 3-16. 3-16. That is just terrible. Very terrible. You know, the last home win for the Clippers, it was on Halloween. So pretty much a no-win November at home for the Clippers. And there is 5 more home games. There's 5 more home games in December for the Clippers. Against the Grizzlies on the 15th, the Lakers on the 20th, the 23rd against the Rockets, and then the Pistons and Kings on the 28th and 30th. So hopefully the Clippers, they turn around. So the Timberwolves game, it was last Saturday, and they have 4 days off. And their next game isn't until Thursday, which is tomorrow, against the Rockets. So they play at 5 o'clock. This will be a tough game because the Rockets, they're playing really good right now. They're 15-6, number 4 in the Western Conference right now. They're one of the top offensive teams right now, averaging 120 points per game, and they're allowing 110. The Clippers, they're only scoring 111 points a game, while allowing 116 points a game, which is pretty much terrible. A 5-point differential. But the keys of the Clippers, they need to do better on second halves. First halves, I would say they're at least decent. We will have a decent lead at least, or at least have some good in the first half. But there's a lot of bad and at best some good in the second half. So that is all for today, guys. We have one more episode this semester, and I hope I can come back here on Titan Radio next semester. I will reapply again to come back here, and hopefully I come back in. I will come back in, as a matter of fact. I will come back in. And stay tuned, because we will have our final episode of the semester, and it will be very exciting. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.